Hi guys, I wanted to introduce my latest project that I did at Flatiron. This is the fourth project that I had to do. I was inspired by a drinking game that we played a couple weeks back. It was after the last project we did. We had to blow off some steam, and it's something that someone kind of introduced us to. The problem was that only one person could control the flow. We had to zoom and share the entire screen of what they were doing. And so we were always just looking at their screen. We couldn't have any actions ourselves. So I decided that what I wanted to do was take that kind of framework and make it multiplayer so that it can be accessed from any browser from anywhere. In other words, anybody can join in and play. And at the same time, build some form of back-end API that would allow you to scaffold out maybe just a trivia game if you didn't want it to be drinking, or some form of multiplayer card game. So what I did is I built a Rails API in the back end. I'll start now. And then I built a front end with JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript. And what was difficult with this is I actually had to learn two new things. Webpack, which I can talk about later after this video, that is. And also ActionCable, which is a Rails gem or module that's available outside of actual Rails applications that allows you to work with WebSockets really easily, which was phenomenal. So what I've got is I've integrated those things. I basically took ActionCable, that component, I took it out and I inserted it inside of my front end so that the two front end and back ends could communicate with each other in real time. So what I have here is I can enter in my names. Maybe it's getting angry at me here. Okay. So I can enter in my names inside here, and each one of them is going to go ahead and work with each other to figure out who is playing and send the information. So if you notice in my terminal, you can see as people are being added in real time to each of the screens, that it's starting to transmit one extra stream at a time. That's because I've established what they call a consumer relationship with the channel each time that I'm clicking their name to enter. And so when I do that, we'll enter in our third player, you'll see that it's now going to be a WebSocket connection, meaning that it's constantly open and waiting to receive data as it comes back. And to show you, we just use our next card function to that is very frustrating. Zoom is making it so I can't click on anything. There you go. So when you see, as I click through, I'll move you down. I'm not refreshing the screen, which would be what they call long polling in JavaScript. You can go ahead and send off a request and then just keep that request open. But when the information comes back, it'll close, and which can take a long time for something to happen. Things won't happen quite synchronously, which this is actually happening asynchronously. It just happens so fast that you can't see it. And as well, like you used to have to refresh a page to be able to see something on the side. And so one of the things that I built into it was these round games where it's really difficult for somebody to keep track of these rounds of what's happening. But especially if you're having a refresh, maybe somebody hasn't refreshed their screen, or they're waiting for asynchronous fetch to come back to them. And you can see that as I go through, those rounds appear and slowly decrement. They go away over time, and everybody knows what's happening with every player, no matter who's clicking on the card. And you can expand that functionality past this into anything you want at that point, because it's real-time communication. If you have any questions, reach out. I'm always glad to talk about my code. There are 3 bugs with it. It is a project, so it's 3 bugs that I'm going to leave, only because this is something that is just for my friends and I to play around with. But if you like it, like I said, ask questions, hit me up.